On February 24, 2023, a terrifying call to emergency services disrupted the peace of a wealthy neighborhood in Reston, Virginia. On the line was Juliana Perez Magalhães, a 23-year-old au pair from Brazil. She was screaming. Moments later, the homeowner, an IRS criminal investigator named Brendan Banfield, took the phone. He calmly stated he had just shot an intruder. When police arrived, they entered a bloodbath. 2 people were dying on the floor. But what looked like a home invasion gone wrong was actually a twisted, cold-blooded trap. To the outside world, the Banfield family had it all. Christine Banfield was a dedicated 37-year-old pediatric nurse. Her husband, Brendan, was a highly respected federal agent. Together with their 4-year-old daughter, they lived in a beautiful, upscale home. Because of their busy careers, they decided to hire help. They brought Juliana, a young Brazilian nanny, into their home. At first, Juliana seemed like the perfect addition. She was warm, helpful, and loved their daughter. But behind closed doors, a dark secret was brewing. Brendan and the young au pair were starting a passionate, forbidden affair. And soon, Christine became an obstacle they needed to eliminate. Brendan Banfield knew how criminal investigations worked. As a federal agent, he knew that if his wife died unexpectedly, he would be the prime suspect. He needed a perfect alibi. He needed a scapegoat. Months before the crime, Brendan and Juliana began planning. They created a fake profile on a dangerous adult fetish website. They posed as a woman seeking violent, non-consensual encounters. They needed a target, someone desperate, someone they could lure to the house and frame for a crime. That target was 39-year-old Joseph Ryan. Joseph had no idea he was walking into a death trap. On the morning of February 24th, Brendan made sure his wife was home. Then, the fake profile sent the final message to Joseph, giving him the address to the Banfield residence. Joseph Ryan arrived at the house, believing he was meeting a consenting woman for a fantasy encounter. He walked through the front door. What happened next inside that house is a nightmare. According to forensic evidence, Joseph was immediately confronted. But he wasn't met by a fantasy. He was met with bullets. Brendan Banfield opened fire, shooting Joseph Ryan multiple times. At the same time, Christine was brutally attacked. She was stabbed multiple times in her own bedroom. When the chaos settled, Brendan and Juliana stood over 2 bleeding bodies. They had executed their plan. Now, it was time to play the victims. Juliana called emergency services, crying hysterically, while Brendan prepared his story for the arriving officers. They claimed Joseph was an intruder who stabbed Christine, and Brendan simply shot him to protect his family. Detectives began investigating immediately, but Brendan's story started to fall apart. For a federal agent, his reactions were too calculated. Then, forensic experts dropped a bombshell. The trajectory of the bullets showed that Joseph Ryan was shot while he was already down on the floor, defenseless. He was executed, but the definitive proof came from the digital forensics. Investigators traced the IP addresses of the fake fetish profile. It didn't belong to a stranger. It led directly to devices shared by Brendan Banfield and Juliana. Police also uncovered evidence of their hidden romance secret dates, flights bought together, and digital messages discussing a future without Christine. The narrative of the heroic husband protecting his home completely vanished. In late 2023 and mid-2024, justice finally caught up with the conspirators. Juliana Perez Magalhães was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. Months later, Brendan Banfield was formally indicted for first-degree murder. The au pair, who came to care for a family, and the husband who swore to protect it, were now facing life in prison. A young mother was gone. A completely innocent man was lured to his death, and a little girl was left without parents. All because of greed, lust, and a cold-blooded plot that failed to become the perfect crime. What do you think about the sentences they received? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime stories. Thank you for watching.